Hello everyone, welcome to Rachel Pichler Yoga. Just in case we haven't met before, my name is Rachel. Today we're doing a full body flexibility practice and I am going to use the wall today. So if you have the side of a bed, the back of a couch, the side of a car, or some actual wall space, you might find it useful for today's practice. So find some space up against something and let's get started. So we will begin today laying down with our legs up against the wall. I'm just going to call it the wall, whatever you happen to be using. So you might have fairly straight legs, or you might have bent knees if you're using a couch or a chair of some kind, but lifting the legs up and into the air in some sort of way. Getting the hips as close as you can, or as feels good. And just rest your arms wherever's comfortable. Maybe wiggle your toes. Maybe even a little point of the toes. Stretching the top of the ankles, a little flex of the feet. Stretch the back of the ankles, the calf. And then as you relax the ankles, you can keep your legs together, or maybe you have some space to bring your legs wide. Get into the inner legs. But close your eyes if you haven't done so already. Start to slow down your day. Start to notice the breath. As you let all the thoughts on your mind start to slow down. If you are letting the legs be wide, they might go a touch wider as we stay here for a couple moments. But see if you can just relax the feet, the ankle, your calf. And if you do have your legs wide, we'll be bringing them back together, but we could all just start by wiggling the toes. And maybe using your hands to help your legs come back together. You can keep the length through the legs or bend the knees a little bit. You might kind of sway the legs a touch side to side. And then we're going to try to cross our right foot over the left. So maybe crossing at the ankles. Your legs can stay on the straighter side. Or if you start to cross the legs a little bit more, bend the knees and bring the feet a little bit wider as you work the inner legs together. And maybe you end up in cow face against the wall. You might heel toe the left foot down a little bit further. Same with the right. Inner legs together, knees coming together, and then using the wall to kind of hold you in place. And you could keep heel toeing the feet down, down, down towards the ground. Snug things up. Maybe even your hands end up touching the feet. Now, if you did kind of work the feet down the wall, you might be able to get the legs back up in just one movement, or you might be heel toeing your feet all the way back up to a point where you can then uncross the legs. Give them a little sway, a little shake, and we are just going to switch sides. So the left foot, maybe it's just the ankles crossing. Maybe as you bend the knees, it's kind of the calves. Maybe you go a little bit more, trying to snug the inner legs together and widen the feet. And just kind of heel toe everything down the wall as you bring the knees together, the inner legs together, and maybe the feet keep going down and down and down. But feeling the hips, the glutes, and keeping the spine nice and long against the ground. Awesome work, you guys. Start to bring the feet, the legs all the way back up. However you need to get there. Give the legs a little sway if you want to. And then we're going to reach our arms wide. We're going to weigh down the shoulders. The shoulders are going to stay on the ground, but we are going to let the hips turn as we walk the feet, lower the legs down the wall to the left side to twist. See if you can get the legs as close, if not all the way to the ground as you can, where the right hip might be stacking over top of the left one. The knees can bend, or maybe the legs are staying straight, but the shoulders are down. The arms might stay wide, and feel that twist through your back, your spine. If you did get the legs pretty close to the ground, maybe you got a heel toe, walk the feet back up. Maybe you can get there in kind of a bigger movement, but just come back so the legs are up in the air again. Flat on your back, maybe a sway of the legs, and we are just switching to the other side. So walk your feet down the wall. Reach the arms out wide, maybe a little bend through the knees or some long legs, but keep the shoulders down. Few breaths here. Maybe you are still lowering your legs to the right side. Take your time. Just breathe. Awesome work, you guys. Slowly bringing your feet, your legs all the way back up the wall, flat on your back. Maybe add a little bit of movement or even a wiggle of the toes. And then you have an option, if you did like laying down here and letting the feet, legs go out wide, you can stay on your back. If you want to come up with me, we're going to sit down and we're going to face the wall and also find a wide straddle there. So if you can bring the feet wide and the feet against the wall, not flat against the wall, it's kind of the inner edge of the feet against the wall. So the toes point up a little and you can scooch yourself as close to the wall as your legs will allow you to feel the inner thighs, the inner legs. You could add a little tip forwards, maybe your forehead is like, oh, there is the wall. Maybe you're not even close. Just be somewhere where you're feeling the length through the inner leg. Take another breath or two. And if you did scooch a little bit closer to the wall, you probably want to back up a little bit first before you try to bring your legs back together. But if you were laying on your back, bring your legs back together too. And you might bend the knees and give the legs a little bit of a hug or a squeeze. So if you're still on your back, you can start to come up and off of the wall. We are going to come over and onto our knees, but we'll still be facing the wall, but from our knees, or you could stand on your feet if you wanted to. Now, I happen to have a lovely ledge that I can use. But you can have your hands flat against whatever you have, or maybe you're using, again, something that has a ledge. But I'm going to place my hands just up here. So hands either shoulder height or a little bit higher than that, and then we can adjust from there. Just reaching forwards a little bit, scooch the knees back a little bit, and then we are simply finding our puppy dog stretch by letting the chest get heavy. Now you do have some options here. You can have the knees further back, so you're reaching kind of, dipping the chest down. Or you could bring the knees a little bit closer to get to the wall and see if maybe instead of looking down, letting the head be heavy towards the ground, see if you can bring the chest towards the wall and the forehead maybe towards the wall. Letting the back arch a little bit. Feeling the legs, the arms, shoulders. And just using an inhale to bring the chest up, the head up, so that you can let go of the wall. And maybe just sit on the heels for a moment. Let your arms just be at your sides, maybe your hands on your lap. Notice the sensations flowing throughout your shoulder, all the way to your fingertip, down to your toes. And then we are going to come to standing, all of us, but we'll turn our backs to the wall. And you can have your feet about hip width apart, and we are going to fold forward. So lean the hips against the wall, bend the knees a little, and then come down. Now you can decide once you're folding if your feet are too close to the wall or too far. I want you to use the wall to support the hips, but feel the hamstrings, so length through the legs. Be able to let the chest be heavier, lower towards the ground than the hips if possible, to create that openness in the low back. Your arms can dangle, or you could hold your elbows and then lightly tuck your chin towards your collarbone. Just you and your breath. Stay for another moment. And then you might bring the hands towards the ground, maybe bend the knees more so that you can bring your hands to the ground. If you can lower the knees down and come to seated from here, or maybe you need to come to standing first. If you are sitting on the heels, you might switch to a cross-legged seat, lengthening through the spine, but just let your eyes close. Notice all the sensations flowing throughout your body. Bring some length into your spine. And maybe tip your head over towards your left shoulder. And then bringing your head back up, and you can tip it over towards the right shoulder. And just do that again. Slowly bring your head back over, all the way to the left. And then back to the right. And then let the head slowly come back through center. And we are going to lay down on our backs. Nothing against the wall. Just flat. Hug your knees to your chest. Maybe rock side to side. And then you can send your legs out long. You can find your way into Shavasana. For a few moments or a little bit longer. Or just feel your entire body against the ground. Enjoy the stillness for as long as you have time for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of your day, and until next time, namaste.